Jumping in, man. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming by.
Thank you so much for having me.
Usually we start by like asking like, what's your name? How many kids do you have? And what do you do for a living? But I got to start off by saying, can't believe we haven't met.
100%. Yeah, we haven't.
We have so many mutual friends.
We have so many mutuals. We follow each other for the past, like, I think 9 years now.
Yeah.
Or 8 years or however long it's been. And we've never actually met. We've been in passing somehow, but
Totally, man.
it's great to finally meet you
as
and
well, dude.
to
Appreciate
sit down.
it.
And thank you so much for having me
Yeah,
as well.
thanks for coming on. That was like the quickest scheduling I've ever done with somebody. You were just like, let's do it.
We're quick, man.
was sick,
we
man.
move quick. So, yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, what's your name? What do you do for a living and how many kids do you have? But
For
I know you
sure.
don't have any kids.
Yeah,
So
for sure. My name's Nick Jongazma. I'm the owner and I guess operator of Adz World. We're an advertising agency. I've been doing this for about 7 years now. Been in the whole media space for well over 12. We'll get into obviously what I used to do before. I have no kids and I'm not married as well. So it's a little bit different than what I guess you're used to, but there's a lot of gems we're going to throw on this podcast. So it'll hopefully make up for that.
100%. We'll
Yeah.
see what your parents think of that too.
Yeah,
so we'll
for
get
sure.
into that. But your father was a chef.
Father was a chef, yeah. Mom was in architecture back home. And yeah, kind of different than kind of what they all wanted to do back home as well. But that's kind of where I wanted to go as well. I wanted to be a chef, funny enough. I didn't actually want to go into any of this. Kind of my whole high school career was gearing towards being a chef. And then when I applied for school, my dad's kind of like, oh, I don't want you to be a chef. Like, why are you going to go do what I did? You're not going to have time to spend time with your family and all this. Kind of broke my heart at the time because I'm like, I wanted to do exactly what you did, wanted to open up a restaurant, be that guy. Applied for a couple schools and I got accepted to a school in Vancouver. Went to Vancouver Solid School. And then while I was doing all that, I applied just for fun to radio broadcasting in Seneca, York. Because at the time I was DJing. I'm like, okay, it'd be cool. I'd love to be on the radio at the time. Tony Monaco, Hammer, these were all the guys that I used to listen to on the live to air. So I'm like, okay, it'd be fun. Maybe we can do something like that. Ended up getting accepted to a school out in Belleville called Loyalist. And accepted the offer, but it was just too far. I accepted the offer on a Monday. On a Thursday, I got accepted to Seneca, York. So I canceled that, ended up going to Seneca, York. I said, you know what, I'll just do this maybe for a couple years and see if I like it. I ended up doing the first semester, fell in love with the program, just loved everything about like radio broadcasting and just eventually geared towards going to sales. My mentor at the time, who passed away not too long ago, he said, Nick, listen, if you want to make any money in this industry, you'd have to go into sales. Being an on-air host or, being in production right now in this market is going to be tough. You're going to have to start a smaller market. Getting into a bigger market like Toronto or Vancouver is going to be a little bit harder. So I kind of buckled down and started to put most of my focus into sales. At that time, I had an internship that we needed to fulfill for our 2-year program. I was going around stations like Virgin, Kiss. Ended up finally getting an internship because of Tony Monaco, funny enough, at Z103. He was at an event. I just popped by. I'm like, hey, Tony, longtime fan. This is when Twitter was big. Everyone was tweeting each other. I'm like, hey, where you at? He's like, well, I'm at this live there. Come on down, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Met him. We took a picture, and he's like, listen, this is the social media. This is the guy that runs the coordinating for all the promotions, so you got to talk to him. I set up a meeting, went fully decked out in a suit, thinking like, this is like the biggest day of my life. The guy's like, hey, man, like, why'd you dress in a suit? It's not that serious. I'm like, okay, I was trying to be professional. Ended up getting that.
This is not the White House.
Exactly. He's like, man, you're just at Z103. Like, you already got the job. Like, why are you wearing a suit? I'm like, well, I wanted to dress the part. Like, I didn't, first time, and I didn't know how relaxed the environment was until after. Did that internship for about 6 months, hit my 100 hours, and then they ended up hiring me part-time. So I was probably one of the first kids in school that was actually getting paid while I was in school, like doing events and stuff at Z103. So I did that for about, say, a year and a half. And then I realized, like, listen, man, like, I don't want to keep doing this part-time stuff. I'm going to try to apply for sales. Sales didn't have any positions. So what I did was I reached out to the sales manager at the time with 0 sales experience. He's like, why should I hire you? So I gave him a bullshit answer. I'm like, listen, like, with the right guidance, I think I'd be a great asset. He's like, okay, well, you should go and come back because clearly you have no experience. I think I was 18 at the time or 19. And whatever, we continued to do what we were doing. I was looking at a bunch of different spots I was looking at in the city. I was looking at doing real estate. I was kind of confused at the time. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. Came back to him again. This is, I think, 2014, I'd say. And I'm like, listen, I'd love to get back into this. He's like, listen, if you can sell spots to this marketing program we have coming up, we can revisit this. So again, got in my suit, going to all these meetings. We're trying to put together a seminar, getting a bunch of people to come and buy this whole package. So I reached out to people that wrapped my car, tinted my windows, did my car detailing, people that I knew all over the years. And mind you, I'm like only 19 years old, so my connection network is not that big. It's only just a few people that I've met over the course of the years. Got these guys to all come down. I think in my first week, I closed about 150 grand in sales.
Wow.
And it was unheard of. Everyone's looking at me like, who is this kid? Like, how does he know? So the last meeting I had was with a business out in Vaughan. It was a wrap shop, and we go into the meeting. They sign the contract, and he says to my manager at the time, he's like, the only reason I'm signing this deal is because of Nick. The relationship that I have with Nick is the reason why I'm signing. I'm not buying it because it's Z103. I'm not buying it because, it's a great price. I'm buying it because of Nick. And then he pulls me out of the meeting, and he's like, listen, you think I should hire you? I'm like, that's all up to you. And then kind of the rest was history. Did that for about another 4 years, I guess, 3.5 years, 4 years. And then I hit a plateau with kind of just what I wanted to do. There's only so much you can offer at a radio station. And then I took a vacation, came back, and I decided that I wanted to just start my own ad agency. And originally we wanted to focus on selling just radio. But then as the demand grew, and then obviously what we were doing more, we started offering the billboards and the social media packages and TV and brand development and all that. So that's kind of how Adz World started. It wasn't originally supposed to be anything close to this. It was just supposed to be doing radio buys for other clients and kind of just maintaining what I had, but being able to offer more stations. But now it's become something that's way different than what I anticipated, and I've been doing it for about 7 years, and it's been going great. Yeah.
Good for you, man. So I'll take you back. You said your dad was a chef. How much influence did your dad have on you becoming or wanting to become a chef?
So since I was born in Vancouver. So I was born, kind of raised until I was about 4 or 5 years old there. He used to have a restaurant, 2 restaurants. He used to have a Mediterranean restaurant, and he used to have a pizza place. So pretty much since I was born, I was always around that kind of lifestyle, going in the mornings with him to the pizza place, and he'd hand a ball of dough with me, and I'd just be playing with dough, or we'd be at the restaurant, I'd be sitting in the back just like, coloring things, but I'd see him in the kitchen. So my whole life, I've always been around a kitchen somewhat. And then obviously at home, when it comes to night times, he's just not making one meal. He's making like 3-4 different meals. So you're always kind of around food, and you're trying things. And like I was eating solids at such a young age, and I was smashing platters of souvlakis and kebabs and this and that. It's like stuff that's not your traditional, I guess, kids are doing at that age. So I've been around that forever. And that's kind of what made me like it. I was always watching like the Food Network, and there was a Disney special, it was called Eddie's Cookout, and I was watching that. So I've always been around food, and I've always just liked passion. You can see I'm a bigger guy too. I love food. So food's is kind of what I love to do, and I love to share it with people that I enjoy to hang out with. So food's a big thing for me, and it's just kind of been around for forever in my family. So
that's pretty awesome, man. So I guess I heard like your dad he didn't really care that much that you didn't want to be a chef, and he wanted you to pursue other things because of like time and all that stuff.
Typical Middle Eastern parents. Yeah. You got to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Totally.
And when I kind of told him I'm a chef, he's like, listen, I kind of had to choose that route just because we immigrated to Canada and to provide for the family. So this was obviously what was available at the time for me to go to school for. He actually wanted to be a jeweler, funny enough. Cool. And the jewelry program just was too full. So he went into culinary, and he's like, listen, I wasn't able to spend time with the family. I don't want you to have to go through that eventually down the line. So that's kind of where he was coming at it. But for me at that young age, it was like, but this is something that I've always wanted to do. Like, how could you say this? Which I'm glad he kind of did, because I do see one of my closest friends, he owns a restaurant, and I see the time he puts into the restaurant business, and it's not as easy as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But everything happened for a reason. So me going into this path, funny enough, I still work with a lot of restaurants in the city. So at some point, I'm still kind of dipped in with the restaurant and hospitality world, cool. But just not at the cost of, my sanity.
Totally.
Yeah.
Growing up and seeing your dad, his work ethic, how do you see his work ethic, and has it transferred to you as a
100%. So a hardworking guy. He's always, if he says he's going to do something, he starts it and he finishes it. And that's kind of obviously gone down to how I work. And if I start something, I finish it. He's probably one of the hardest working guys I know. And yeah, it's definitely had a major impact on me over the years, and it still continues to, and I still want to try to outwork what he did and do better than he did. But yeah, for sure, he's probably one of the most hardworking people that I know, and obviously typical Middle Eastern father. They come from a different country, and they're in a new country, so they're trying to provide for their family and make something of themselves. So
has he told you he's proud of you?
It's hard, you know. Middle Eastern parents, they never say that,
That's
but
why.
they say it in a different kind of way. Oh yeah, like you're doing good. Like it's never like I'm proud of you. You know, it's like indirectly like, hey, you're doing well, like, or you're doing this. And I'm sure you probably get the
100%.
same thing. And it's a lot of friends, they don't like say their dad's like, oh, he sat me down today and he tapped me on my leg and he said, I'm proud of you. So it doesn't happen in that aspect, but in some sort of other way, family always somehow supports. So
How about your mom? Like, what kind of different role did she play?
so my mom was always supportive of everything I did, even with the DJing stuff. Like she was super supportive. The more issues that came into play was when I was younger and just being out so late with the DJing. That's when kind of things started to. They obviously get worried and like, oh, when you're coming home, like, what are you doing? Why are you coming home at 6 a.m? She was super supportive. Her background back home was architecture, so she actually didn't do any of that here. She was just kind of like helping out with the family and just being
Stay-at-home mom.
Yeah,
Man.
stay-at-home mom.
Best job ever.
Yeah, so that's kind of what she's been doing. And then obviously my sister, she's like kind of in the law field, so that's kind of where they were happy with, because typical lawyer, doctor, engineer, so they're happy with that aspect. But for me, it was a little bit more different than the typical route that every Middle Eastern, and like in our family at least, takes. So
Are you close with your sister?
yeah, very close. Yeah,
How important do you think it is having siblings?
very important, especially an older sister is very important. I think it definitely it creates a big role in your life, and it just gives you a lot of skills on a day-to-day, especially having an older sister. So I think it's super important. I think having a sibling is probably one of the biggest blessings. You have someone that's always looking out for you. And my sister, she'll like go to the end of the world to make sure like everything's okay. And yeah, she'll just like I do for her. But yeah, she's a big support for me as well.
She live in Toronto?
She does, yeah.
Is she married?
No, yeah,
What kind of law is she in?
family.
Oh, awesome. Maybe we got to get her on the podcast. I'd love that if
Yeah,
she's down.
yeah, for sure.
You mentioned you had a mentor. Like, what do you think the difference of this, like, not the skills, but the advice they would give you that would be different than your father? What kind of father role do mentors have?
So my mentor, his name was Jim Craig. He was in the radio industry for like 50 years. He was more like a grandpa to me, and I lost all my grandparents fairly early in like my childhood. So he was almost like a grandpa, like an older figure, and kind of the advice that he just give is just like he try to help you in every sort of way possible, and he obviously could help you just because he's been in that industry, and he was always rooting for you no matter what. And I was lucky enough to have him as a mentor over the class of like 50 students that we had, and which was a huge blessing. And I remember when I first started Adz World, a lot of vendors wouldn't want to work with me because I wasn't accredited, I guess. Even though that doesn't really mean anything. And he's like, listen, whatever you need, I'll sign off on whatever. I'll talk to whoever it is. And he almost had your back in a way that your dad can't really have your back because he's not in that industry. So if I was being a chef and he was in the industry, sure, it'd be a different thing. But he was almost like that support that you needed but didn't know you had, and you didn't know how to leverage it. And unfortunately, he passed away about a year ago. And things have been obviously a little bit difficult trying to kind of talk to people and who it is, because he was kind of someone that I used to always talk to, rely on, and just kind of just sit down and just be like, listen, this is what's going on. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do you think? And he's obviously experienced all that because he's done everything that I've had. And in the past, I think like 10 years, nobody in our program went into sales. So for him to want to really focus and put that energy into me was just a huge blessing. And I'm grateful for that. But it just also showed him that, this is someone that I want to focus on and really just try to push. And I tried to make him proud as possible, and show him that, listen, it's something that I'm serious about, and it's not something that is just temporary. So
Good for you. You have obviously all the knowledge that you gained from the relationship with him.
Yeah.
You started Adz World. What kind of like advice would you give people who are too scared to leave their 9 to 5 to pursue their dream? Because I'm sure that was hard, right?
For sure. When I left, I think I had $800 in my bank account. I was confused as to how I'm going to make this work. I had a car payment. I had credit cards. And I made a lot of stupid decisions when I was younger. I thought credit cards where you just tap them and they kind of just go away.
Don't they?
No, right? But in terms of leaving your 9 to 5, it's kind of, you just have to set up a plan. And sometimes you'll never have the right plan. You got to just do it, and then eventually you kind of figure things out. And I know it's obviously difficult. Like, I have this conversation with a lot of my friends. Like, oh man, I'm comfortable. I don't want to leave. But how long do you want to work this 9 to 5? How long do you want to work for someone else? How long do you want to put that effort into someone else's business? How long do you want to care for someone else? If that person doesn't care about their business, why are you caring for it so much? And these are obviously the conversations that I used to have with myself. It's like, how long am I going to want to do this? Is it sustainable? I want to be able to go and travel. Can I do this while I'm here? Can I make as much money as I want to be? Can I have the freedom? Can I offer my clients something that I genuinely believe in? These are the kind of conversations that I had with myself, and I think that's kind of what pushed me to leave. Obviously, yeah, it was scary for the first year, and when I started, it was 2018. It was about 2 years right before kind of we hit into COVID, so it was scary as to, okay, I don't know where this is going. It's my first time in a pandemic with a business. I don't know how I'm going to do this, so I started getting creative as to how I'm going to offer clients stuff. But in terms of leaving my 9 to 5, I think you just got to take that first step, and over planning is going to make you procrastinate on it and say, well, I don't know if I want to really do it. You just got to take that first step, and then everything will kind of roll into it. If you have the passion for it and you have good intentions, I think everything will go into play for you. So
Did you have like a set of clients transitioning into that role, or did you like?
so I had the clients that I was working at Z, but I couldn't really take them with me just because of like non-competes. But at the end of the day, I kind of figured out something where I'm like, listen, I can keep these clients, but still take them to Z103. So what I did is I eventually just kept booking them through Z. And then I'm like, okay, well, these are my first clients. I didn't really take them anywhere else. They were still running ads on Z103.
Like a brokerage? Like you were a broker?
Pretty much, yeah, at first. And then I started reaching out to other people. And then now I was offering stations out in West. I was offering billboards. And then, funny enough, my first billboard campaign that I ever ran was the most unsuccessful billboard campaign. I closed a big deal for a massive super board in the city. Closed the deal, client paid. And then about maybe two or 3 days before they're supposed to submit their creative, I get an email from the client saying, hey, like we want to make this image stick out of the billboard. I'm like, okay, cool. Like we can do this. Not knowing obviously like there's rules to this stuff. So I submit it to the vendor. I'm like, hey, like this is what we're trying to do. They're like, no, we need permits for this. We need this. There's additional costs. I'm like, okay, can we do it? They're like, no, like it takes about 2 weeks. So I tell the client, they're like, oh, well, we want to cancel. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I get it. You want to cancel. I refunded the client their money. So now I go to the vendor, tell him, hey, like they want to cancel. Sorry, you can't cancel this. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you can't cancel this. There's a 90-day cancellation clause. I'm like, but we just signed the contract on a Monday. What do you mean? Like there's not even 90 days. Sorry, I can't do anything. I was out $7,000.
Crazy.
And this was my first 3 months in the business. So I'm losing my mind. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like what's going to happen? The client to this day is still like, well, obviously a good relationship, but I couldn't go to the client and be like, hey, I can't give you a refund, which I should have eventually. Like, these are all the things I learned, obviously contracts to make sure they're bulletproof. My contract was so thin and it was lightweight. It didn't do nothing for me, but these are the things that I learned. So that kind of had a bad taste in my mouth from the beginning. And that's what pushed me to start pushing billboards. I'm like, okay, well, I lost $7,000. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to go make $700,000 now off these billboards. And that's kind of what pushed me to really start pushing billboards out of home. And then the rest is kind of history. Like that was kind of, and I've never told this story. No one ever knows like what my first one is. Only my super close friends know, but that's kind of how it all started. Is that first billboard that kind of burned me. And that's what motivated me to kind of push forward and try to sell more.
Can clients go straight to the billboard
They
company?
They can go straight to the vendor. Yeah.
Why don't they?
So a lot of times, so there's two things. A lot of times, the people that I work with, they don't want to deal with the big corporates. They don't get treated the same way that I treat them. They want someone that they know and can trust and will obviously have their back. The other thing is we do more than just media buying. So we'll help you with the creativity side. We'll help you with the post-production. We'll help you with the vision, the kind of everything. So, and a lot of times we get preferred sort of pricing when it comes to certain locations. So we obviously pass that off, and it's just customer service. And I'm very big on customer service. No other vendor or brand will match my customer service. And that's a bold statement to make, but I will guarantee you the vendors of the world that are these massive big corporations will not beat my customer service, because at the end of the day, these clients are just a number to them. For me, it's like I actually care about my clients. Yeah. I talk to them on a regular basis. I genuinely care about their business. So their business is like my business. And after a while, these clients become like family. So working with me is obviously a different experience than working with someone who's just going to submit a ticket and tell you, hey, this is the contract, it's up. I'll make sure when the billboard goes up, we take a picture for you. If there's an issue, if I see something that's wrong with it, I'll call it in. You might not see it, but I'll call it in. I will make sure everything's on point. None of my billboards ever peel because I call it in every single time. I have contracts in place where every 30 days a new print goes up. Like the small little things that most people don't think about, I think about, because I want to make sure the client's at the top best when it comes to their campaign. And nobody will ever say, hey, like, you know what, there's an issue with my campaign. So you can go to the vendor direct, but at the end of the day, you're going to come back and work with me. So
cool, man.
Yeah.
Did you regret giving back that refund instead of kind of like holding it as credit and You know what I mean? Or would you ever do it again?
Well, that would never happen again, but just because I know obviously the rules, the kind of thing, how it would work. But we ended up working something out with the vendor. It wasn't technically really a loss of $7,000. We worked it out over the course of the period. But at that moment, for me, $7,000, which it took me a while to build up, is like almost like $1 million.
Of course, man.
So it's like, wow, like I just lost this. Like the VP of the company is like, sorry, man, like what are you doing? My rep that I'm working with is like, sorry. The senior vice president is like, I'm losing my mind. It's like, yo, what's going on? And then eventually you start to learn, like, listen, man, it wasn't actually their mistake. It was my mistake. I shouldn't have just jumped to try to make the client happy. The client obviously took advantage of it too, because they're like, yeah, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. Let me just get the refund. And that's it. But I think in the future, it's just more figuring out kind of what it is and, you know, what the sort of fine print is, and then learn from there. So biggest lesson is to read the fine print.
I wonder if it's like a generational thing, because like I know my dad, man, he's like, once money comes in my pocket, good luck getting it out. And whereas our generation, I think we're so forgiving and want to be, like you said, customer service based and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's
like
kind of
for our parents, like, yeah, sorry, tough luck. Like it is what it is. But for me, it's like, oh no, don't worry. Like, you know, like I've had campaigns where we had an issue with a campaign not too long ago. The client submitted the creative super late, last minute, and it didn't go up right at midnight. It went up a little bit later in the day. Right before I even knew the next day happened, I was like, listen, I'm going to give you a discount on it. And it's like, listen, like I'd rather not make anything on it just so you're happy and you're going to come back. He came back again and we're working together. But I'm not that kind of person to just take people's money and just not deliver. I want to make sure they're over delivered and always giving them more than what they're actually promised. But yeah, that's just kind of how I operate, I guess. Yeah.
As like an advertising firm, do you ever feel the pressure of results not coming through for them, or them not feeling that they got their money's worth? Even if, let's just say you did, but you prior to that have like worry or like...
So now doing it for so long, I'll kind of tell them what I think would work best. And it's kind of up to them at that point if they want to take my guidance as to what will work. But when I was younger and earlier in the business, I used to always worry about, okay, is this going to work? Like I was always like paranoid, like, is this something that's going to happen? Are they going to want to rebook? Are they going to, you know, want to extend this contract? What if it doesn't work? Cancellations, like these things would always go in my mind. But now I've done it for so long that I could tell you this works, this doesn't. You know, if you're going to spend your money on this, like it's a waste of money. But if you really want to do it, go for it. And sometimes I won't sell something on just for selling it. I will never sell you something if I know it won't work. If I know this location doesn't make sense and you're adamant on it, I won't sell it to you. I'll be like, sorry, go somewhere else. Unless it's something where it's like a big corporation. I'm like, listen, guys, this doesn't work. Well, no, the VP wants it. In order to, you know, do this, you have to put that in. I'm like, okay, man, at that point, like, I don't tell you. But for a smaller business, and if they're really adamant, I won't sell it.
Good for you.
Not just to make like a couple $100. Like I won't. It just doesn't make sense, because I don't want you to come back and say, well, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I told you. But at the end of the day, everyone says it. Oh, well, I worked with this guy and it never worked. It's like, it's not my fault. You're the one who said to do it. So how's that my issue? So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Future of billboards, the metaverse. Have you ever considered, I know this is kind of wild, but have you ever considered buying an actual billboard in the metaverse? Because I've looked into it. I've seen like property managers in the metaverse, and I'm like, what?
I have. I've looked into it. It's definitely a play. It's just, I don't know too much about it yet, because it's such a wild concept to me.
Totally.
It's like you're almost buying something in a video game, and it's like you're making money off of it, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I've definitely thought about it. I think AI is crazy in the future for anything that's billboards. It's already taking over a lot of things, from like podcast editing to ChatGPT. There's so much stuff going on. But I think the future of billboards right now is going to be digital. All the traditional ones you see in the city are going to be coming down, and everything's going to be going that digital route. So
when you say digital, are you referring to like the screen is digital?
The screen's digital, yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to see a lot of digital screens going up in the next like 5 to 10 years.
Cool.
And billboards kind of are dying down in certain cities, just because of permits and whatnot. Like where we live in Toronto, people don't like billboards. So they're always petitioning, trying to bring them down and take them down. And for every like 5 or 10 billboards that come down, they'll give them 1 digital board. So it's, I wouldn't say it's a dying business, but it's a very difficult business to keep pushing forward, especially with taxes you have to pay on them. And there's just a lot of political sort of, I guess, tiers to it when it comes to just out-of-home advertising, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, like, with the whole social media, I'd say, like, from the last 5 years, people, influencers and stuff, do you see a spike in sales where just people want their picture on the billboard just for social media?
Tons, yeah. So we get 3 types of clients. We get clients that actually run campaigns for branding. We get clients who actually run campaigns for sales, and we get like these hype just to show off campaigns where they just book the spot for the day. They just want a picture and that's it. They don't care about anything else. They just want that Instagram pic just to showcase that they've been there. But yeah, we do tons of them. We do tons for artists. We do tons for just like influencers. We do a lot of them. And it's crazy because they just throw money and just want a picture and they don't care what it is. They don't care the time, to the point where they're just like, hey, can you send me, can you just sell me on like 5 minutes? I'm like, no, unfortunately in Toronto, you can't. They're like, we just want a picture. And then sometimes they'll be like, oh, like we'll try to edit it. And then they'll try to edit it on Photoshop and you can see like how butchered it looks because it'll never be the original thing. But yeah, we get tons of them.
What does something like that cost?
For which ones?
Like the bare minimum of some influencer wanting their photo like Dundas Square.
So Dundas, you can get anywhere from, let's say, $2,800 for the day, depending on like one of the bigger ones. I mean, you can hit up like 10, 15 grand for the day, depending on how big you go. But it's not, billboards are not as expensive as people think they are. And that's kind of why I got into the business, was to make it a little bit more sexy and try to revamp the business. It was kind of dying down in terms of interest.
Yeah.
So when I came and I started rebranding things and try to really push it, now people are like, well, I want to do a billboard. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like people literally will see me and they're like, yo, he's the billboard guy, or, you know, and it's obviously not what I want to be known for because I do more than that. But yeah, it's kind of just, that's become kind of the norm now when it comes to advertising. Go, let me call Nick and let me get an idea of like what a billboard costs. But yeah, billboard rates, they all range. They all fluctuate based on area. You can get Times Square as little as, let's say, 7-8 grand a day, to all the way to like hundreds of thousands for the day. So there's endless opportunities.
Chump change.
For some big corporations, yeah. Chump change, yeah.
So what are like some of your dreams, man? And keep in mind that like what's the future of advertising, and especially at billboards, we kind of just got into it right now. But what's your dream, man? Like what are you focusing on for the future?
So personally, advertising, so Adz World, I want to grow. I actually have another business as well, which is complete, like not related to advertising. It's a farm. So we grow hydroponics and aeroponics. So we do microgreens. So we grow vertically in a farm. So that's another passion of mine. It was myself and like a couple buddies. We got together. We've been doing it. I still want to get into hospitality somewhat, whether it's opening up a takeout spot or, you know, a pizzeria or something. That's definitely a goal in the next 5-10 years. But for advertising alone, I think the goal is to really push with the whole AI kind of driven and really maximize on that. I think everyone's so worried about AI taking over jobs and, you know, roles and whatnot. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. I think people are just going to have a little bit of an easier time using those tools to do better with what they have. Like everyone's like, oh, ChatGPT is the worst thing that's ever happened. I don't think ChatGPT is the worst thing. I think people can actually now grammar check what they send out, and the world can be a little bit more, you know, grammarly correct.
Yeah.
But I think it's just how you look at it. But I think AI is a big influence on where things are going. And I think a lot of businesses actually in this year, they're kind of stepping back from the social media side of things, just because everyone does the same thing on social media.
Yeah.
Everyone's posting the same trends. Everyone's posting the same videos. People are now looking at, let's go to the traditional route. Let's look at the radio. Let's look at this, let's say advertising on TV. Let's look at billboards. The stuff that still works and people think it's dying down. These medias are not dying down. Like people think radio's dying down. Radio's the one thing in your car that's free. You don't have to pay for it. You have to pay for Sirius. You have to pay for Apple Music. You have to pay for Spotify. The record came in, the tape came in, CDs came in. Radio will forever be there. It's free. Sure, it's coming on a decline just because of, I guess, listenership and programming. But there's stations in the States that are doing amazing just because of what they're putting together. I think programming is more important than the actual radio concept. So people just need to really get educated on why things have been around for so long and how they're still working. But everyone's so short-sighted and on like, oh, well, social media is the way, it's going to wipe out everything. It's like, social media is cool, but if Instagram or Facebook, their server wipes out and it just gets deleted, what happens?
That's one thing that I'm trying to make a backup plan. I'm like, if your account gets deleted or whatever, you're relying on this one source of advertising, and with no backup plan, how would anyone find you? Because that's what I say. What would you do if there was, your account got deleted? How would you get your customers?
I just go through my Rolodex phone, my phone numbers, and just start calling them.
Yeah.
And just go back to what I was originally doing. Because when I first started this, Instagram was, sure, it was there, but we'd find our businesses just from like, just cold calling.
Yeah.
And people don't cold call. Like, sure, I don't even cold call myself. I use a lot of like the social media platforms to kind of reach out to people, but I still have that background as to I could go to cold calling. I could go to my Rolodex. But nowadays, like this generation, they're so focused on Instagram, social media, TikTok, this. It's like these guys are influencers, supposedly. if their Instagram account gets taken down, or TikTok, like what are you really influencing now?
Yeah.
So why not work on a bigger scale, work with the traditional types, work with the TVs, work with the radio. So now you're an influencer regardless of where you are and where you go. But they're so short-sighted. Everyone thinks, oh, TikTok, social media, these things are going to be around forever. What if someone like Elon Musk comes and buys it all and is like, we're just going to shut everything down. We don't want any social media in the world again. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So people don't think of these things. And it's like, there's a reason why radio's been around for so long. There's a reason why TV's been around so long. Sure, listenerships and viewerships might not be as high as what it used to be, but at the same time, it's been around for a reason. And it's going to continue to be around. As long as they shift and they're able to kind of adapt to what's going on, I think they'll be around forever.
That's cool. Like, I find it very important, like, every day I at least connect with one or two strangers, like in the elevator, and just tell them about my brand, because it's free and it's just another source of like advertising.
People also have forgotten how to socialize.
Totally. I get it.
I think with the pandemic, everyone kind of hibernated to a point where I'll be in the elevator and the guy's literally just looking down. I'm like, hey, have a great night. And he's like, yeah, you too. And he like forgets how to talk. It's like, man, like just say hi. Like it's not like smile. It's free. Like, you know, it's not taking anything away from you. Like, why are you so tense?
It must be also a Middle Eastern thing, because my dad is gonna talk for the whole ride to people, and it does throw them off guard, man, completely.
People like to talk. Like one of my closest friends, he's Arab, and he'll literally sit and like I know half the time he's joking around. He'll sit there and he'll just start randomly talking to people.
Yeah,
and like they're just like confused, and like I'll be dying of laughter because he'll say some of the funniest stuff, and like he'll like walk in and he'll just be like hello. And like people are just like, what? Like confused. It's like, that's just kind of what we are. Like we always love to just talk to people.
Totally.
And that's just kind of our personality. And I think people are just so like into themselves that they kind of forget that you can socialize, and it's good for you. People need to socialize. Like that's what, like being a human and, you know, interaction is important. So I think people forget that. And I think that's something that they still need to do on a day-to-day basis, and being on your phone constantly and just being so focused, not good for your eyes. Like
I agree.
Talk to people, look at the greens, like, you know, look at the grass, look at something.
Sometimes I just say, I just look in this, like in the sky and just look at the buildings, because we rarely just like look up and stuff, man. But one thing I really like about billboards versus like say like social media is there's no bots. It's real people looking at things, because I do kind of analyze a lot of my social media advertising, and I will look into the profiles that, let's say, followed me. I'll always look at my followers, and a good portion sometimes I see are bots.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they still exist or how they still exist. And I know a lot of social media companies try to wipe out the bots, but they exist, man. And they're taking your money for that like click. Yeah. Whereas billboards, man, it's just real people looking.
Real people, you can actually get real audience looking. It's physically there. With an Instagram ad, it's like you're scrolling.
Yeah.
Well, how can I tell my client it's there? Well, I can show them a picture that says sponsored, but I can Photoshop that.
Yeah.
I can do so like, yeah, you get analytics, sure, but with a billboard, it's like, hey, my client, go to this location at this time. You're going to be up there. Oh, cool. That's amazing. And that's what I think people are starting to realize. It's like, wow, like I'm actually on a billboard. And it's also cost. A lot of people think billboards are $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a day. It's like, it's not that expensive. Like, you can run a successful campaign with like a fraction of that budget. Same amount of money that you're going to be dumping into SEO and Google and social media. No problem. Do those things. But 1 month, try to maybe adjust it and run a campaign on a billboard. And you'll see how many people are going to be like, oh, I saw it on the billboard. Let me search it up. Oh, now your SEO is going to pop up. Everything works together. And that's what people don't realize about advertising. They think just because you're focusing on one thing, it's going to blow up. Radio, when you run a radio ad, you can't justify how much business you're getting. But if you start to see a spike in your Google Analytics, okay, why? What's happening? Well, I'm running a radio campaign. People are starting to hear it. People are Googling it. And that's kind of how you got to realize on how to sell it and explain it to people. With out of home, once they hear it on the radio, they're driving and they drive by and they see the billboard. Everything's kind of coinciding with the same thing. It's all working together in the same thing. So it's all in sync. And that's what people don't realize. Like every sort of advertising you do is in sync. Yeah. If this is looking good and this will match it, it'll all work together. But if this is off and you're only focusing on one thing, that's where the problem
is. It the same thing with billboards? Like you just have to look at the SEO and look at like views and stuff to measure if it...
You can't, yeah. Like with any advertising, aside from like social media, you can't really justify what you're getting out of it because you never know. Okay. Like you can never guarantee sales with ads. Now with social media, you can show obviously how many people visit your website, whatnot, but with billboards, you can't really, unless you have a QR code on it, I guess. And like people are searching up the QR code and you can see how many people scanned it, but you can't really get an actual statistic on, you know, how many people have visited. You can get impressions on how many people saw this specific billboard on a digital campaign. But with radio, for example, you can, or with like a traditional billboard, you can't really tell them how many people have searched up on my website based off of like a static image.
Never say never. I can already see like in the future
For sure.
it recognizing.
There's already, so funny enough, there's actually some tools on top of certain billboards in some parts of the world where it's AI driven. It'll tell you how many people have looked at it.
Crazy.
Yeah. It obviously hasn't rolled out to our market in Toronto, but it exists.
That's pretty cool.
So, and obviously that'll be the future of like how many faces have looked at it. You know, what kind of demo was it? A male? Was it a female?
That's crazy.
25 to 54? Was it 18 to 32? Like, what was the demo? So,
You DJ'd.
I DJ'd. Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
So funny enough, DJing. I started. So I think I was in grade 8. Funny enough, and we went to this house party with my family in Oakville, and there was a DJ there, and I just got really intrigued. And he was like playing Persian music and whatnot, and I'm like, yo, this looks really cool. Like, I don't know, like something about it. Like, I really want to do it. So I started like trying to get in touch with him, and I started doing like a bunch of like these events and going to these events, and I really wanted to start like pushing. And then from there, like it kind of just happened that when I was in high school, I started like DJing with like virtual DJ and all this stuff. Like, and then we started doing like these Persian events, and at the time, a lot of these DJs weren't really trying to help me, which is common. Like nobody really wants to help each other. And the one, like I was supposed to have a 40-minute set, and this guy comes after 10 minutes. He's like, okay, get off. He's like, it's my turn.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm 16 at the time. I'm like, okay, shit. Like that's how it is. Okay, cool. Ended up going to college, and then around that time, I was really starting to pick up on things. And then when I started at Z, I was just getting really active. So I was leveraging the fact that I was working at Z. So people would be like, oh, hey, like, you know, where do you work? I'm like, Z103. And then I started doing all the remotes that we did for the events, and then trying to like, you know, do like festivals and whatnot, and then clubs, and then kind of built my brand. And then it just became something that I did for like 10 years. And then I was doing it like every weekend I was at somewhere, like a club or a wedding or this. And then I saw the money was great. And I'm like, okay, you know, let me continue this. So kind of kept doing it. And then I was on the verge of trying to produce with a friend of mine. And then kind of Adz World started. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? I kind of want to put my focus into Adz World, and I don't want to be out every single weekend till like 4 a.m. I don't want to lug around speakers and lug like, you know, turntables and all that stuff. So I did it for about 10 years, something that I still love to this day. I love DJing house music. I loved DJing Persian music when I was doing it. Hip hop I love. Like everything I love is just cool. And that's kind of all the experience that I had with DJing was 10 years. And it kind of just led to, you know, great opening doors with other people. Met so many club owners that now have businesses or vice versa. So it was kind of a part of my life. It still will be. I don't know if I'm going to get back into it. I might. I just don't have time. But it's something that I'll forever be passionate about. And it was cool. It was fun.
What did you hate about DJing?
People coming up to me saying, hey, can you play this song? Or, hey, like I'm leaving in like 3 minutes. Can you please play this song right before I leave? I'm like, yeah, for sure. And I just wouldn't play it. Or just people would be like, yeah, man, like, you know, can you please just like switch up your format and just play hip hop only for tonight? I'm like, no. Like I had a crazy story. I was DJing a club one time, and this like big Russian guy walks in, and he's like, I just got out of jail. I want you to play Russian music. I'm like, shit, I don't have any Russian music. And the only song that I had was like remotely close Russian.
Rasputin?
Was Bass Hunter Russian Privet.
Oh, God.
So I played that. I'm like, okay, sick. And he's like doing like a tectonic dance. And like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like he's vibing with it. And he gives me a thumbs up, and he comes back and he puts $200 cash on the turntable. I'm like, what the hell just happened? And then that was like one of the craziest stories. Or like there's a time where like literally as we're leaving, there's a club that was about to just get a shooting. And I'm just like, oh, okay, like time for me to leave. And like some craziest thing. And that's kind of why I got out of it, because it's like, it's so unpredictable. You never know. Like you're just working one day, and then the next night, like something, just a guy just gets like punched in the face, like right next to you. And it's like, you know, but I've obviously had cool experiences. Like we were on stage with Future one time. We've like done sets with like ASAP Ferg. Like you got to meet a lot of these cool people. And then working at Z103, you're able to meet so many cool people.
Yeah.
So you're meeting an artist every single week. And a lot of the guys that you look up to are now coming into the station.
Totally.
And I was obviously super grateful and lucky, because Hammer and Paul obviously would allow me to go up to the station, and Danny D and all these guys. And even like festivals, like we'd be able to work. Monica would be like, come on the stage, and like we'd be on a mic. Like, when would you ever think you'd be at a festival stage just on a mic with like 50,000 people like handing out t-shirts? And like, that's obviously like kind of how things have started, and how I was able to build the brand that I had. And I've had like so many fun experiences over the years working with those guys too. So
it's crazy. Like I have one crazy story too, man. We were at Bananas, and during the day, Bananas got this like threat from Hell's Angels. Oh, the day before, Hell's Angels came and I guess they made them take their badges off or something like that. You know, like they didn't want like gang stuff related. So then the next day they got like this threat saying, we're going to come visit you at Bananas at night. And then like I heard, and I'm like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? Are they going to come shoot up the place? They ended up coming at the end of the night. And then I remember going like to the office. I'm like, the Hells Angels are here, man. Nothing ended up happening. But like you said, it's like not fun, man.
Yeah. It's like you're on edge. It's like, man, I just want to play some music. I'm going to go home, man. Like it's not that, like it shouldn't be that complex. But that's kind of what it was. And then I got out of it and then I started doing more of the private events, like weddings, engagement parties, stuff like that. And then, yeah, it just kind of slowly fizzled out. And yeah, it came to a point where I just didn't like it anymore. I was getting anxious a lot, DJing. And it's just like, there's so much on my plate at the time. And I just kind of got out of it. And then it just kind of fizzled out. So yeah.
Can we jump on that? Because like the anxious part, man, like I've been doing it since like 2006. And ask my wife, man, every night before DJing, I'm like in bed, don't want to get out. And like, just like, fuck, man. Like, you know what it comes with, people just breaking your fucking balls, think they don't do research on the club they're going to, expect that you're going to play these like wacky tunes. And I'm like, going to come home late. I'm like, I don't even want to fucking go. Don't even pay me. I just want to stay home. I go through that every week and it fucking sucks.
So the anxiety part was huge. Like I remember, and I didn't really talk about this a lot, but the night before I'd start to get like anxious. I'm like, shit, like I don't know what I'm going to play. I don't know if I'm going to do well. Like, is this guy going to like it? And I remember one club in specific I did, and
which one was it?
Maison.
Oh wow!
So I did Maison one night, and I don't give a fuck. I'll tell a story.
Yeah.
So I did Maison, and I remember they told me, listen, you're going to be opening for this DJ, and you're going to only have to play house music. I said, okay, no problem, because at midnight we're going to switch it over to hip hop. I'm like, okay, cool. House is my forte. I'll do it. No problem. I did house music, whatever. DJ comes on at 11:30. And he's like, yeah, man, like soon enough, we're going to have to like transition over. I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever, did it, killed it. Like everyone was loving it. I brought a huge crowd with me too. And then I get a call the next morning from the guy who booked me. And he's like, hey man, what the fuck happened? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they hated it. What? I'm like, what, why? He's like, yeah, you only played house music. He's like, man, they didn't want that. And I'm just like, man, like every DJ that's played this slot has told me house music. No, man, you shouldn't have played this much house. I'm like, bro, but everybody loved it. The club loved it. The club owner even loved it. He's like, yeah, man, they didn't like it. And I knew what it was. It was like the promoters that really want to push their DJs. They don't want new people in, which is a lot of politics in Toronto's like clubbing scene too.
I get it.
That's kind of also what I got. There's like 3 or 4 big guys and everyone wants to really push them. And it's like, cool, man. Like you guys want to do it, go for it. Like, I don't care. And obviously these things will like affect you. It's like that whole day I'm like, did I do something wrong? And I'm looking at it. I'm like, fuck, what did I play? And then, yeah, just like the anxiety of like having to play spots and then people coming up and complaining, oh, he's not playing this music. And it goes back to, it's like, why don't you do your research first before coming? Like, this is a house club. Like, we're not going to play hip hop. And if I am, it's going to be a hip hop song with a house beat on it.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that. And it's like that. And then people will come up and like, I like my space around the booth. People will come and like, these girls want to start recording and like guys are wanting to do things. And I would like lose my mind because the guy would leave his bottle there. And I'm like, it's my equipment. I don't want you to like, you just be so anxious and like there's always something going on. It's like I'm tweaking, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, there's a bottle of Grey Goose here that's about to fall on my computer, and this guy's leaving his cranberry juice, and this girl's like dancing, and she's like halfway about to like, and if you tell her anything, oh, you're like being a dick and this. It's like, I don't want to hear this. Just like leave. Like, let me just play. Like, stop. So there'd be a lot of things that you'd obviously think about, but in terms of like the night before, yeah, you'd get anxious. Up until that moment of like actually playing and then getting into it, I think you're still anxious, and a lot of people don't talk about that as a DJ. That there's like, I know some of the biggest guys and I'm like, yeah, man, we still get anxious like up to like 20 minutes before, and like we're trying to calm ourselves down and this and that, and yeah, I gotta just like think like that's what it is. Yeah,
I count down hours to leave when I get there, man. Like once it's like 11:30 and like 12, I'm like, okay, I just gotta keep them for like 2 hours, because like once I hit 1 p.m. 1 a.m. I'm like, okay, I only need 1 more hour of like bangers, and then I know it's like, you know,
until they come like, can you play another half an hour? I'm like, now we're in awkward positions. Like, hey man, you got to pay more. Oh, but like I don't know, and this, and it's like this whole thing. And like,
that's why I never do weddings or anything outside of a club. I've only been a club DJ, never done any of that, because like you said, and then it gets all like fucked up. Like I don't even want the extra money. I just want to go home. I can't deal with that.
And then
shit,
I used to book DJs, like a lot of the guys that I knew, I used to book them when I left, and they'd call me like at like 12 in the morning. I'm like, man, like what's up? Can your DJ stay another 2 hours? I'm like, let me call them.
Oh God.
And he's like, yeah, bro, like I can. How much are they paying? I'm like, okay, this is what they're paying. No, bro, it's not enough going back. It's like, why am I negotiating the night up? Why don't we talk about this before? And it's like, people just don't think like, hey, like, if this is the time, this is the time.
Yeah.
If you thought about it, book a later one. I think the craziest one that I had was it was a house party, and she paid me for I think 4 hours. 2 hours in, she's like, yeah, nobody really showed up. Can I get like half of my money back? And you can go now. I'm like, that's not how it works. And again, going back to like trying to please people, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna give you a portion back. I'm just gonna go because we're so like, I know our friend group, whatever. I don't want to come back and say, hey, Nick's the one who charged us, no matter, even though he didn't play. So I just kind of gave her the money back. I haven't spoken.
You're
to her
too nice, man.
Like I can't. Yeah.
I've had like opposite experience when once I drove to Bananas on Halloween.
Yeah.
Literally nobody there. They paid me. I drove back home.
I wish.
Like, yeah, dude. I've run into like a
Good
lot of
little
cool,
drive.
Yeah. Enzo from Ivy bought me this like Zoom recorder where I can plug into my set and record my set. So I've been like kind of blessed where I've met a lot of nice owners and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, some owners are super cool. Some are just like the whole professional aspect doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
if it wasn't like for me needing the money to like fund Daddy Day Club, I'd be out of it so fast.
Yeah.
It just coming home at 4 a.m. is just not fun. Waking up the next day at like 7
it like
a.m.
throws your schedule off. I used to get home on Saturdays around like 4 or 5 o'clock. You'd be eating late out because you're obviously hungry. The next morning you don't wake up till 1 o'clock. You feel groggy. You got to get ready for the next day now. And like everything is like so behind. And I used to do it with a good friend of mine, Josh Gords. I don't know if you know DJ Gords.
No, I don't.
But he does like he spins right now on Dragonfly in Niagara.
Oh, cool.
So him and I used to do like one of the clubs together. I'd pick him up at night. We'd go and then I'd drop him off. And like we'd both just feel like ass, and like it wasn't fun.
Try it again with kids, and you'll fucking It's a disaster.
I can only imagine. Yeah, like while you're going to bed, your kid's waking up. So
essentially, man, yeah, it's crazy, dude. Did you ever have like pressure from your parents, and still do, to like get married and have kids?
Yeah, they've like obviously talked about it. They're not as pushy as like some of my other friends. That hey, like you know, you got to get married. This. They have one friend like his mom is like literally busting his balls every day. Like, hey, when are you gonna get married? When are you getting married? Like, you know, I'm gonna set you up with someone, your cousin. You know this, that. And it's like, bro, like relax. For me, it wasn't really like they really push on. Hey, like you know, you got to get married. You got to have kids. They're kind of just like, listen, if it happens, it happens. And I think they kind of realize like you know, pushing isn't really gonna do anything. Like pushing anyone to do anything isn't really gonna help. And that's also why they kind of gave up on pushing me to even do like the careers that they wanted to do as well. So they kind of realized that, listen, everyone has their own path in life and there's no timeline on getting married. Like we're not back home where you need to be married by like 19, 20 and have kids and, you know, start all this stuff. Like I know like a good friend of mine, he's like 47 years old. He just got married like 2 years ago. He's just having his first baby, like coming up the next few months. So everyone has their own timeline. And I don't think there's any, I guess, specific deadline as to when you're going to do things, but yeah.
You think you'll ever want to have kids?
Of course. Yeah. 100%.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there any questions you'd have of like what it's like?
So I've been blessed by having a lot of friends around me that are having kids and they have kids. So I see kind of what they're going through. So I picked up on obviously a lot. I think it's kind of, you just have to be in it to understand like what's going on. But for the most part, I think like everyone makes it sound like it's so like hard and you'll never have a life again. It's like, man, like I think the important part is having the right partner and having like a good community around you. And
totally.
I think that's kind of what the most important part. But I have like friends, oh man, like it's the most difficult thing. And they like use it as an excuse. Like, bro, I'll never have a life again. It's like, man, like you're making like one of the greatest things sound so bad. Like why? Like I've seen you post from the second you got married to just having a kid. And I don't think anything's ever changed in terms of your happiness. I think you got more happy now than you before. But some of like the friends that I have, they're like, yeah, man, like, you know, my life's over. I have 4 kids. Like, you know, it's all about them now. It's like, sure, I get it, but you're still a human being too. Like, you should care about yourself as well and your wife. No, it's just for the kids. I'm nothing. I'm like, man, you don't need to be that dramatic.
Yeah. They need to join the Daddy Day Club, man.
They do,
because that's exactly why I created it, man. Just a reminder to, you know, have your passions too.
For sure,
it's crazy.
Because that passion will eventually help you be a better father, I guess, and you know, be a better spouse to your wife as well, and it'll help you in day to day. Like, I think one thing that men don't also talk about is just mental health. I think that's definitely something that's important. And, a lot of people don't realize that we have a mental, and you know, it's important to be healthy as well. And I think Daddy Day Club would probably be the best thing for them, and something that's definitely underrated when it comes to just men as a whole. Of talking about just their mental health and you know what they go through and just communicating, because I think as men we're really bad when it comes to communication. We don't really talk about what we're going through, so I think that's something that's definitely important. Yeah,
I wonder why, because like obviously we talk to ourselves in our head, and I'm like, man, if I said some of this shit out loud, I
Oh,
would
yeah.
look fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's like,
I think it's the Middle Eastern part too. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know, like kind of looking at my dad, he really never talked about anything going on. He kind of just dealt with it. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, I know you dealt with this. I know you dealt with this, but like, why didn't you talk about it? You know, maybe it would have helped you. Maybe it would have helped situations to be better. But I just think it's like a Middle Eastern thing as well. It's like they're very prideful, and they don't want to just talk about it. And they don't want to ever look, vulnerable in front of their family or anything like that. But I don't think you're necessarily looking vulnerable. It just kind of depends on what you talk about and what you want to share. But even talking to like your friends or whatnot, I just think people are just so, it goes back to just people just being to themselves. I don't think people just are being social like they used to be. I think being social will help with a lot of other aspects in your life as well.
that's true.
Yeah.
As you get older, do you have like a different sense of appreciation for your parents?
Yeah, like obviously, like I look at them every day, and as they're getting older, it obviously makes me sad that they're getting older because a lot of the things that I did see from them before, like they're obviously getting older. Like, you know, they're getting more tired. So I definitely do appreciate what they've done, but at the same time, it's just sad that, you know, we're getting older, they're getting older, and it's hard to look at them just like, hey, like someone that used to be able to like kick a soccer ball with me, run, is like, sure, he still could, but at the same time, he's like, you know, he has back pain, knee pain. It's like, you know, he's tired. So. Yeah, it's just, I kind of guess it's like just the life, like you know, everyone gets old and it's a cycle of life. So
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like the moment you realize what is life,
yeah,
because it's like,
and it's
whoa.
short. It's very short, and people don't realize how short it is. It's not worth being holding a grudge over someone or being in an argument or any of that. It's like life is so short. You don't know what your expectancy is. Like, you don't know how long you're gonna be on this planet. You don't know what's gonna happen to that person the next day. And I think obviously people getting angry or, you know, being upset kind of blurs their vision when it comes to that. But travel as much as you can, have great conversations, spend time, do things that make you happy. And I'm very big on that. Like if something that makes you happy, do it. For me, I love cigars. I love cars. I love music. I will continue to do those things. I love to travel. And that's what makes me happy. I'll continue to do that no matter what, just because that's something that just keeps me, you know, happy. And I'll continue to do that. And people that give up their hobbies and their passions just because they think they've gotten older, you know, they think they're too old. I think that's just completely wrong. I think like Daddy Day Club is cool, but I think there should just be just a club in general, just to tell people just to not give up on their passion as a whole, whether you're a man or a woman or whatever the case is. Like, people give up their passions and their hobbies just because they think they're getting older or something pops up in their life. I don't think that should be a thing. It's like, no matter how old you are, whether you're 67 years old, if something that you like, just keep pushing at it and never say you're too old. Like, I know people that are 75 and they're still active every single day. The guy doesn't look a day over 40. Why? Because he continues to do what he's passionate about. So I think that's also what will make you old is when you don't follow the things that, you know, you used to when you were younger. And that's something that I've been working on as well. Like, I used to love to watch hockey, and I gave it up for the longest time because things got busy, and I'm trying to get back into it and just watching it every day and like keeping up with it. And when I was younger, we'd get to school, we'd open up the newspaper, we'd go and look at the standings, like this team scored. I'd wake up early just to watch the highlights. I'm trying to get back into it because that was the stuff that I was passionate about. I'm like thinking about, like, why am I not doing it anymore? Like, what happened? And obviously you'll get busy in time when life will come into play. And, you know, I'm working on it too. So
Good for you,
Yeah.
man. 2 questions. Are you trademarked?
which part?
Adz World.
No,
Why not?
I'm working on it right now as we speak. Yeah.
Did you file it?
Yeah, with actually, funny enough, with that girl that I sent you this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't I do
Yeah.
realize how important it is.
Yeah.
Because I was this close to like not being able to. I filed for Daddy Day Club as well, but somebody had something called like Daddy Cool Club, and they said it's too close.
Okay.
But they ended up forfeiting their trademark, so now I'm back in the game. But I think people forget how important having your IP
For sure.
settled, right?
Yeah. Even like my website and stuff. I remember at one point I was trying to get another domain and someone tried to take it, and people like try to like mess with you and do things. But yeah, no, it's big, really important. Yeah.
I collect domains, man.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's it can like kind of protect you if you're, because I ended up buying his domain, the guy who I couldn't get it. I bought daddycoolclub.com and .ca just to protect myself.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. And I think my second question was, how much money are you okay with being in debt to grow your business?
I guess it's all relatable to like how big you're trying to grow. It depends like what your plan is. If you're trying to make it into something that's I guess, astronomical and tap into like multiple different markets and whatnot. How much are you willing to invest? So I think it's case by case. Luckily for my business, you don't need to invest actual hard costs into growing it just because there's no physical business like a brick or mortar. There's not an actual product. The products exist there. We're just kind of putting them together for clients. So I'm lucky in that aspect of you don't need to really invest in, I guess, physical products, but obviously softwares and, a team and your own advertising campaigns. Some of the best stuff that we've done is the campaigns that we run for ourselves. We did a campaign for our 6-year anniversary in November, and we gave out 500 roses in like a crazy big G-Wagon, and we filled it all in the back, and we had a bunch of guys working out, and we did a billboard at Dundas Square, and we just gave out a bunch of people roses, and people were so confused, like, why are we getting a rose? And it's like, listen, like, we just want to, like, I literally would hand a rose to the lady, and I'd be like, I just want you to smile. And she's just like, what? And she would smile. And it's like, yeah, 6 years, like, we're smiling, I want you to smile as well. And she was like, well, that's amazing. And like, people would just follow us. And like, we weren't trying to sell anything. We weren't trying to do anything tacky. We literally partnered up with one of our clients, Prairies and Petals. They're out in Yorkdale. They do like beautiful like bouquets and whatnot. And they're like, listen, man, I love the idea. We literally got one of my buddies who's got a G-Wagon. He's like, listen, take the car, whatever you want. We loaded it up with 500 roses. It was stacked. And I'll send you a picture after. It's stacked. And then we pulled up to the square. We opened it. We had 2 of my little guys, friends that came out, and they were just handing them out, and they were lovely as well. They're just giving out roses. Everyone was handing out roses. So it's just stuff like that that makes people really like different. And I could have done the traditional stuff of like, hey, giving out T-shirts, but like, why? Hand out yellow roses. Nobody's done that in the city. And next year we're doing something even bigger, and that's what's gonna make it even go crazy. We're gonna do something in the summer too. Like I have all these ideas ready to go, and that's what makes you different. That's the campaigns that will make people realize I want to work with a business like this. Like this guy's thinking out of the box. So
This is a great transition. How did you collaborate with MD Motivator?
So Zach was a cool way we collabed actually. So we kind of follow each other on Instagram somehow. Like I found him first, and then he followed me back just because he saw, I guess, someone that I did something with, and we were in touch for like, I guess, about like a year, going back and forth. He's like, bro, I'm in town. Can we do something? I'm like, bro, it's last minute. And then he kind of finally reached out to me. He's like, man, I have a good friend of mine. His brother was a survivor from the explosion out in Beirut. Can we do something for him? I'm like, I'm on board, 100%.
Can I tell you? I know him.
No way.
Yeah, man. I used to DJ in Windsor. My cousin Hanny would bring me out to Windsor all the time. Met him many occasions. Like we hung out all the time. And it was only until you posted that collaboration with MD Motivator, I'm like, is that Fatty? And then my cousin's like, yeah, no, like heartbreaking. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we had this whole campaign ready to go. And he's like, listen, I'm trying to work on something with Drake to get him to actually meet him. And he's like, we're going to work on that. What can we do? I'm like, listen, we can put him on a billboard at Dundas. He's like, okay, perfect. So they drove down. We met up at the Eden Center. And he's like, yeah. And he introduced me to him and his brother. And he's like, yeah, this is Nick. He's on the team. Like, he kind of helps out. And, like, obviously, like, I could see that he's getting confused. Like, why are we here? Like, broke my heart just, like, talking to him. He's just such a pure person. And when I saw him like that, it just made me so emotional. I'm just like, listen, like, this poor guy, he's, like, been through it all. And we're just talking, Zach's talking to him and whatnot. And I'm like, Zach, it's coming up. And he turns him around, and it's him on the billboard. And at first, I don't think it, like, resonated with him that it's him. And then he, like, realized, and he's looking, and he's, like, getting emotional. His brother's getting emotional. His dad was there. Yeah. And I think, like, it made his whole day, like, seeing himself there. And that's kind of, like, what the collab was. And I told Zach, I'm like, listen, like, we don't need to, like, make it crazy big. Like, I just want to do this because of what it was. And then we've talked ever since then. Like, Zach is, like, honestly one of the greatest human beings on this planet. Just talking to him for like 5-10 minutes, like you will feel so good leaving that conversation. He's so pure. And yeah, we did that for Fatty, and his brother and I, we kind of kept in touch, and like he always shows love. And yeah, we kind of just started from there. We're going to be doing more together. It's just he's traveling all over the world doing other things. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it started. Just social media, just how you and I met. It's just kind of just follow each other, and then yeah.
Small world, man.
Yeah,
that's really crazy.
Yeah,
sad stories, man. But I guess we only have a few minutes, right? I think we're pretty much tapped out. Yeah, we're tapped out. We'll, I guess, I usually end with 2 questions. The first one is if you could get, like, if you can have any artist perform at your wedding, who would it be?
Artist.
Dead or alive?
That's That's a good question. Well, there's two. Joey for sure I want to have.
Okay, shout out to Joey.
Shout out to Joey because I love Euro.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah. Rest in peace. I think he's probably one of the greatest artists. And yeah, he's just his whole career. He's got like so many great tracks and like it's crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
But
second question: if you can have anybody be on this show, who would you from your circle have?
From my circle. Hammer's one for sure.
It's on the works.
There's a lot, man. There's honestly a lot. I think one of the guys that, a couple guys actually. There's a guy. He's a good friend of mine. His name's Massimo Grisafi.
He's coming.
Is he?
Yeah.
He'd be great, I think,
Yeah.
because he was actually funny. So that whole Maison story. He's the one who called me the next day.
Shut up.
Yeah. Mass called me 9 a.m. He called me. I'll never forget it. I just woke up. He's like, bro, what did you do last night? I'm like, what do you mean, man? He's like, bro, they hated it. I'm like, what? So Mass would be a good story.
Okay.
Because I've known Mass for years. He used to do the whole clubbing and stuff. And obviously he got married and he had a kid and whatnot. But I think Mass would got a lot of cool stories to talk about.
I'm gonna kind of with him showcase like the promoter life and like just the history of like, you know, this is London, like good times.
Mass he's done everything. Yeah.
You think if you called Hammer now, he'd answer?
Let's call him.
Let's see. Well, that's how we're going to end the podcast. I've been trying to get him on, man. We can't get the schedule going, so we'll see if he answers.
This guy never answers, so
we'll see.
We'll see if he answers. Okay.
He's probably somewhere eating.
He's either
with Monaco.
eating, for sure.
He's
getting coffee for Danny and himself.
He's at Fat Fork.
Oh, for
100%.
sure. Yeah. For sure he's at Fat Fork.
All right.
Yeah, he's not answering.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you being here. This was awesome, dude.
100%, man.
That's
Appreciate it.
awesome.
Thank you so
And
much for having
hopefully
me.
we can do some like collabs in the future in the summer. I don't know. If
For
there's
sure.
one thing that somebody can do to help you, what would it be?
Share my profile, I guess. Just get more people to see me. And if you guys need advertising, if you need a billboard, you need any sort of type of advertising, take care of you guys.
Where can they find you?
So my personal is It's Nick Ara, and my business is Adz World, so Adz World.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you again.
Thanks so much,
dude.
man.
Shout out to
Appreciate it.
Graham for having us here too.